Here, feel.
Hey! Hey you! You alright, lad? You were moaning something fierce for a while there. Feeling the effects of the aether, I reckon. You'll get used to it, though. Don't worry. You there! Halt! What's all this about? Inspection. Men, search the carriage. I'm just an honest peddler, friend. So, don't be too disappointed if you don't find nothing, eh? Mind your tongue, old man, lest I cut it out. Sir, look! Somnus. Honest peddler, was it? Since when do honest peddlers deal in prohibited herbs? You're in a lot of trouble, old man. You'll rot in a dungeon till the end of your days, unless you can afford the fine. Heh, business as usual. Wah! Amalja! Amalja! To arms! To arms! Seven hells, consider this a warning. Now go! All of you! Phew! That kind of excitement ain't good for the heart. You be careful around them brass blades, lad. Bastards will have a shirt off your back if they fancy it. Like common bandits they are, only less honest. Thank the gods for sending some beastmen to the rescue, eh? Hey, seeing as we still got a long ride ahead, you mind keeping me company till we arrive? Them youngins don't do much... Blah. Them youngins don't care much for conversation, see? Brent's the name, and peddlin's me trade. And judging by your unusual garments, I'll wager you're one of them new adventurers. I knew it. Going wherever the wind blows, seeking fortune and glory. Now that's what I call living. So long as you can avoid dying, I mean. Ain't no secret that adventuring's a risky business, these days especially. What is it that first attracted you to it? Why did we become an adventurer? I'm gonna go with ... Well, if you ain't inclined to tell, I ain't about to pry. About to be old Brent's a chatterbox, but he sure ain't tells no busybody. Well, we all have a secret or three, don't we? Me? Dozens. And it ain't rather they stayed secret too, which is why I don't go sticking me nose where it ain't welcome. Just remember though, there's more important things than fortune and glory, such as breathing. Ain't no profit in being dead, and that's a fact. By the by, is this your first trip to Ul'dah? No, it's not. But of course it ain't. Still, might be as this journey itinerate as a few new things to teach you about your destination. Ahem. Ul'dah's ruled by the Sultana in name, but most folk know the Syndicate holds the real power. Them and their monetarist cronies would happily get rid of Her Grace altogether, but that won't happen while she still commands the loyalty of the Royalists, and the Royalists are nothing if not loyal. These factions have long fought over power, throwing the weight of their wealth against each other, and they show no sign of stopping. 'Cause the Lizardmen, that's the Amalja, don't care less about the Ul'dah politics. They have their own interests, see, and they ain't afraid to use force to serve him. They say war is a gift to peddlers, need breed and profit, and thought it shames me to say it, I'm inclined to agree. Ah, at long last. Behold, Ul'dah, jewel of Thanalan, where folk turn sand into gold.
Deep in the sun-baked south, surrounded by the shifting sands of an endless desert, she rises, a solitary rose amidst the dust and rock, a symbol of defiance. Her name, Ul'dah. Even with the coming of the seventh umbral era, hope springs eternal for the mongers and merchants who vie for lost fortunes in this bustling oasis. As the twin faces of Nold Thal maintain their vigil over all that has been and shall be, the present proffers a brave soul. One whose arrival could mark the beginning of a new era of prosperity for the realm.
And here's where we part ways, lad. I'm off to the markets to deliver me wares. Then it's on the high road for me. Here, I want you to have this, by way of thanks for putting up with me prattle. You never did tell me your name, though. But here's an idea. Become a sort of storied parsonage I can brag about having met, and I'll consider us square.
May the traders nurture our fortunes as they kindle the flames which burn within us all. For by fire are we reborn.
Oi, venturer! Over here! I mean you. Fresh off the carriage, by any chance? Eh? How can I tell? Heh. Name's Wymond, and my business is knowing every bugger else's. Now then, what if I was to offer you some invaluable advice by way of welcome to our fair city? Free of charge even. Just this once like. Welcome to Ul'dah, the shining beacon of prosperity rising from the deserts of Thanalan. Please select a control screen you used to use. Oh, mouse and keyboard, because that is how I play this game since it's on my desktop. By the way, hello my lovelies and welcome to Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. My name is Brenton, and welcome to the beginning of this extended play, which I am so excited to get started. If you are playing on on the PC, which is how I prefer to play MMOs, here are the basic controls. WASD to move forward, left and right and backwards. You use, like it's saying right here, the wheel on the mouse is to help you zoom in and out. You can also like click down the left and right side of the mouse to move forward and to rotate your camera like it's showing you here. And when you're ready, speak to Wymond. Nope, I do not want to open up the lodestone. Voila! And then spacebar, you can jump. I just want to check something here really quick. Yep, that's what I thought. Literally level 1 of everything. This is so freaking weird. It feels so incredibly weird. And I want to, one thing I really want to do so badly right now is fix my key bindings and like my UI, which I can show you how you can like fix all that stuff. I'll do that more towards the end of this first episode. I was kind of debating whether or not I wanted to do it now and like cut it all out, but I think I'm going to do it in between this episode and the next one, just so that we can get things rolling. So let's go ahead and speak to Wymond. Okay, so initiating quests. Non-player characters, or NPCs, offering quests can be recognized by an exclamation mark above their head. Right-click the mark to bring up the quest window. So accepting a quest. Once you've initiated the quest, a prompt will appear detailing its objectives and rewards. Click on the Accept button in the lower left to add the quest to your list of current duties. So coming into Ul'dah, so our reward is 50 experience and 103 gil. To be recognized as an adventurer in the city-state of Ul'dah, you must register yourself with the Adventurers Guild. So we will accept. 'Tis plain to anyone with eyes that you don't know your way around here. If I let you go wandering off down the nearest dark alley, you're certain to get mugged or worse. And I don't want that on any conscience. So before you do anything else, you'll want to head over to the quicksand and speak to Momodi. She's the master of the Adventurers Guild and can set you on the right path. Blah. I promise you, this MMO isn't all completely reading. As you could see, there is also voice acting in this, so I won't have to read every little thing. Just take those steps over yonder and pass through the double doors. You'll find her inside. And that's as much as you're getting for free. Good luck with the adventuring adventurer. Quest accepted. You have begun a quest. Use the duty list to help you complete your task. So pretty much this section right here is your duty list. As you can see, it's saying the quest is called Coming to Ul'dah, and our task is to speak with Momodi. If there's a green check mark here, it means that is this is the last step you need to do to complete the quest, which I probably just explained Oh, you can also check your journal by pressing J, and it'll bring up the same exact information that I just told you. So the Adventurers Guild here in Ul'dah is just right up these stairs. And through these doors. We'll just jump over that because this Lalafell has some pretty intense jumping. So collecting rewards. So like I said, the green checkmark means that this is the completion of the quest. And you just do the same thing as you would do for collecting a quest. Yeah, collecting a quest. I said that right. You just right click on her. And then usually a cutscene will begin, or it will just go straight to the completion of the quest. Why, hello there! Who might you be? If you're looking to join the Adventurers Guild, you've come to the right place. Name's Momodi, and I know this fine establishment. I own this fine establishment, if it please you. I also manage the Adventurers Guild here in Ul'dah. You might say that looking after green adventurers like yourself is my vocation. And lucky for you that is. And lucky for you that it is. Without someone like me to steer you right, you would soon find yourself in the middle of nowhere, caught up in business you don't understand. Like your conflict with the Almadja, for example. They've been plaguing the Sultanate for forever now. I probably read that wrong. Then there's the Garlean Empire. None can say for sure what they're plotting these days, only that they are. Aye, the people drink and make merry, but underneath it all there's worry. Worry for a lingering feeling of loss. And little wonder it's scarce been 5 years since the Luster Moon cracked open like a giant egg, releasing an abomination intent on turning the realm into an 8th hell. So much was lost in a blink of an eye. 'Twas the end of the world had come at last. But then things begin to get foggy. Everyone's got their own version of what happened next. Some of them, 2 or 3. You'd think people would remember something like that, but the fact is, they don't. Nobody does. There is one thing the survivors agree on, though. The part played by a band of adventurers who laid down their lives for the realm that wasn't their own. They fought valiantly, and like so many others, they never returned. Deeds worth remembering, I'm sure you'll agree. It's just a shame our recollections of those brave heroes are as jumbled as those of the calamity itself. Whenever we try to call their faces to mind, it's like they're standing between us and the midday sun, permanently silhouetted. I'll bet this sounds poetic to you, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's bloody infuriating. But even if we can't remember them, we'll not let them be forgotten, and so we'll call them the Warriors of Light. And they'll forever stand as a shining example of what adventurers can achieve. That's why I welcome new arrivals like yourself to our fair city. All I ask is that you lend a helping hand and try to leave Ul'dah in a better state than you found her. If you can promise that, I'd be happy to let you join the guild. Alright then, a promise is a promise now. I'm counting on your help to put the past behind us. We'll need people working and spending and bickering like the old days. And a happy and prosperous Ul'dah means business for the quicksand, too. Any road, let's make this official. Go ahead and write your name into register, neat as you can. Scout Alder. Well, ain't that a charming name? Just rolls off the tongue, it does. Alright, Mr. Alder, on behalf of the Adventurers Guild, I officially... Please, sir, be merciful. 12 is my witness. I swear to you, I'll bring you your money. In the East, it is said that even a merciful god might be driven to vengeance if thrice blasphemed. Be grateful you were given a fourth chance to offend. You two, attend to the scum. No, please, mercy. Well, ain't that a sorry sight? Nor an uncommon one, if I'm honest. Don't worry, though. If you work hard, I doubt you'll end up like him. Just the same, if you ever need a bit of advice about one thing or another, pay me a visit. Just don't go bothering me every time you stub your bloody toe, alright? Of course, I do enjoy hearing tales of gentlemen's woes with the womenfolk from time to time. Any road, welcome to Ul'dah, Scout. Take a moment to catch your breath, and I'll teach you a little bit about our fair city. And complete. This concludes an introductory game tutorial, thank God. You have taken the first steps as an adventurer in the city of Ul'dah. Listen well to the wisdom of Modi, then go forth and discover the incredible adventures that await you. So main scenario quests. So this is, so pretty much any exclamation mark icon that looks like this means that this quest is part of the main scenario, as it is called in Final Fantasy XIV. Completing quests with this type of icon means that you're moving the story forward, and anything else is just a side quest that supplements what's going on in that particular region, or its own little, obviously, side quest storyline. I'm realizing that I'm like explaining everything when it's right here, but I'm just having fun with it anyway. So quests that look like this, that are blue with a plus sign, these indicate a task or series of tasks that are tied to new duties or features that you have yet to unlock. These are called feature quests, and we will be picking these up to the best of our abilities. There are certain feature quests that unlock other classes that we won't be picking up, and I'll make mention of those as we go along the story. But those that we can pick up, we will. Because, like I said, I'm going to be showing off as much content as I possibly can. And that includes doing the feature quests that are applicable to Scout Alder. So, like any good adventurer, let's talk to Modi once more. Modi, the proprietress of the Quicksand, wants you to perform 3 tasks that will help you learn the fundamentals of adventuring, which we're going to do so. Also, I want to bring your attention to the upper left-hand corner of the screen right here, where it says Next Main Scenario Quest. This was added in patch 4.0 with the expansion that came out in June of 2016. Sorry, 2017. They added this in patch 4.0. If for any reason you forget what you're doing, because there are certain main scenario quests that are locked behind a certain level that you have to be at before you can continue, it will always tell you right here what your next main scenario quest is. And you can click on it, and it will show you the location of where you can pick it up. Just something that you all might want to know in case you ever get lost, because that was something that happened to me a lot when I first was playing Final Fantasy XIV, and that was like right before patch 3.5. Before you go charging off to find your fortune, I have a few basic tasks I'd like you to perform so as to help you get to know the place. First of all, I want you to visit the Aetheryte Plaza. To get there, head west from here till you reach Emerald Avenue, then look to the north. You should see a giant floating crystal called the Aetheryte. If it weren't for Aetherites, traveling around Eorzea would be a damn sight more troublesome than it is. Of course, you still need to attune with them before you can use them, so to be sure to do that with the one in the plaza. You ever attuned with the Aetherite before, Scout? If not, just lay your hand on the thing and you'll see what I mean. When you've done that, I want you to pay a visit to the Thaumaturgus Guild over at the Arzaneth Ossuary. Blah. Assume the scepter ain't just for show. You might consider trading there. And finally, I want you to visit the Sapphire Avenue Exchange over on the steps of Thal. Goods from across all... Oh my gosh, let me try that again. Goods from all across Eorzea are beyond turn up there every day. You'll have no trouble finding armor, weapons, or anything else a legend adventurer like yourself might need. You might say that everything's for sale here in Ul'dah, as long as you've got the gil. Just make sure you don't pay more than you ought, Scout. There's plenty as won't scruple to swindle unsuspecting foreigners like yourself, especially if they think no one's looking out for their best interests. Which is why I'm giving you this letter. When you visit the exchange, find a gentleman named Roga and give it to him. He'll be happy to tell you about the markets once he's read it. In short, then, visit the Aetherite Plaza, the Thaumaturgus Guild, and the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. Simple. Oh, but before you go, a word of advice. While there's more than a few unsavory characters out there who'll try to take advantage of you, there are also some of the honest-to-goodness problems who you should consider offering a helping hand to. A lot of folk are lured to the city by the promise of wealth and power. What many of them fail to realize is that instead of chasing after Gil, the moment they get there, they ought to be making friends. Let it be known that you are willing to give as much as you get, and opportunities will come your way. Speaking of which, you should speak with Smith over yonder. Those lads always have some good advice for up-and-coming adventurers. Otherwise, it's about it for me. It's past time you get going. Oh, and let me know when you finish, will ya? That way I won't spend my days worrying that you're down in your small clothes without a gil to your name. Okay, so I'll find there are even like more new people who are playing as well. Holy crap, a bunch of things are popping up. Okay, so sanctuaries. The crescent moon icon will appear to the right of your experience bar whenever you enter a sanctuary. While in this special area, you will accrue a rested bonus. The bonus will continue to grow even if you are offline. So anytime you log out of Final Fantasy XIV, I highly recommend staying in the oh my Lanta, if I can talk, in a sanctuary such as like a city-state, aka Ul'dah, and you'll be able to get a rested bonus while you are not playing the game, which is something that I'll probably take advantage of a little bit. All experience earned through battle, crafting, and gathering while under the benefit of rested bonus will be increased by 50%, which will be kind of nice. Your current rested bonus is displayed on the top of your experience bar. The orange bar shows how much more experience can be earned before a bonus fades. If the bar is blue, it indicates your bonus will carry over to the next level. Inns in all three city-states, as well as the various outposts and settlements, are classified as sanctuaries. To maximize your experience earning potential, make it a habit to always log out and win these areas, just like I said. Okay. Main menu. So pretty much this is your main menu right here. It will give you access to a variety of different things, such as you can change your stance, open up your inventory, your character, the little letter on the side here, for example. So if you just hit C on the keyboard, it will open up your character page, I for the inventory. This is for duties, which is something that we'll get into once we reach the appropriate level. Certain logs that will eventually unlock. Travel, pressing M will open your map. Party, social, and system. And system you can open up by pressing the escape button. So we'll just go ahead and close this, and then navigation. So like I said, pressing M on the keyboard will open up your map, and because obviously you're not going to be able to figure out in the mini map where you're going to like a good degree, I guess that's a good way of saying it. Yeah, I mean, I want to read those, but I'm just going to explain them anyway. I'm actually not going to talk to the Smith. There's not really much I can talk about him at the moment, so I'm just going to ignore him, because the very first thing that I want to do is attune ourselves to the Aetheryte. And as you can see, I am playing this during Christmas time. And it looks like we got to the part of the game where we now can see other people who are running around and playing the game alongside with me. Oh, look, it's Wymond. I didn't know that he moved himself right here. Interesting. Does he have a quest for us? Is there something that I can do for him still? Let me see. Wymond would like to know what you think of Ul'dah. I'm just going to skip that for now. Anyway, there was something that I wanted to mention that I did not mention in the introduction video, and that is about the Astral and Umbral eras. Essentially, because they mentioned them in the opening cutscene, and an Astral era is a time of peace and prosperity, and an Umbral era is the opposite of peace and prosperity. It's a time where a great tragedy has occurred and the realm is trying to rebuild itself from such a calamity. At the end of patch 1.0, it was the end of the 6th Astral Era, and this patch, or the beginning of this game, is what is ushering in the beginning of the 7th Umbral Era, which is currently where we're in right now. Just some lore I wanted to mention real quick before we continued. Anytime you see an icon that looks like this, similar to the main scenario quest, is just showing you that this is where you need to go. So for example, attune yourself to the Aetheryte found in the city. Well, here's the Aetheryte. Let's attune ourselves to it. Hail, adventurer! Might you have come at the behest of Miss Momodi of the Quicksand? Excellent. Which brings us to the matter of the attunement fee. And that will be 100,000 gil, if you please, sir. Ha 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 ha! Apologies, but I do relish the opportunity to make that jest. The look on your face was absolutely priceless. Ah, but the fact that you were so easily deceived suggests to me that you are unfamiliar with the use of Aetherites. Allow me to explain. These crystalline agglomerations tap into aetherical energies and are primarily used as a means of travel swiftly to one place to another. Perchance you have heard of Return and Teleport? Well, these transportation spells make direct use of the Aetherites and their connection to the flow of Aether. Given that there is Aetherite in almost every corner of Eorthia, any adventurer with a mind to explore the realm will wish to seek out and attune himself to each and every one. But even if you have no intention of wandering beyond the Sultanate's borders, it would be prudent for you to attune yourself to any Aetherites you encounter from now on. I pray you found that informative. Should you wish to learn more about the Aetherites and transportation magic, I should be happy to answer your questions. Which I am just going to explain to you guys anyway. So we learned Return. So anytime that we want to return specifically to Ul'dah, we can hit Return, or we could simply pay Gil fee, oh my Lanta, and be able to return here. Just because this is our city-state, this is our home, and you can actually change which Aetherite that you can return to as you attune yourself to more going forward. And I just explained Return. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Visit the Thaumaturgus Guild, which is over here. Down this way. So this gives me an opportunity now to explain this before we encounter it, but in city-states, not only is there a big Aetherite crystal, but you can also find smaller Aetherite crystals throughout the city. I would recommend also attuning yourself to the smaller ones because it will allow you to travel swiftly within the city. So for example, right here, the Aetheryte Shard. I'm just going to go ahead and attune myself to this because it means that once I attune myself to this, now I have access to the Ethernet. Which just means that if I right click on the Ethernet, it means right now, currently I can go between the plaza, which we were just at, and the entrance to the guild here. The more you unlock, the more swift, like the more you can travel amongst the city between all the different Ethernet shards. Oh, excuse me. I think the burp just got into the recording, but that is fine. Let's go ahead and speak with Yayake. Welcome to the Thaumaturgus Guild. It is fate that has guided your steps. Excuse me. Here to stay, friend. I see you harbor arcane ambitions, though your journey has scarcely begun. Within these hallowed halls, the arts of devastation are taught. Primeval magics with which to bring about an enemy's ruin. If you would join our ranks and wield such power, you must needs know our beginnings. The nation of Ul'dah inherited its traditions from ancient Beladia, a city founded by the descendants of the first mages. The secrets of these illustrious sorcerers were ultimately entrusted to the priests in the Order of Nod Thal, who have passed them down from generation to generation ever since. Focused and refined over the centuries of use in the Order's funeral rites, the arcane magics of our ancestors eventually emerge as the art as we know as Black Mage Arts. A freezing blizzard to halt corruption, a raging fire to cleanse the corpse, and a bolt of lightning to expel the sins of mortal life. The, wow, how do you even pronounce that word? The demowers employed in the preparation of the dead are equally efficacious when applied to the living. It is for the reason that we are feared and respected in equal measure. Thus does our guild thrive. Ensconced in the catacombs of Zenith Osiri, a sanctuary devoted to Thal, divine arbiter of the afterlife. What you say then, adventurer? If you would plumb the abyssal depths of the thaumaturgy, then our learned sages guide your descent. Ah, but before you leap into the darkness, you must prove to your guild masters that you are possessed with the spiritual fortitude necessary to look upon that which awaits therein. When you are ready to submit to the judgment of your most eminent mages, say the word. And should I do this now? I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to do this now. Because with your class, so you have the main scenario, quests, the main story. But additionally, each individual class of the game have their own story as well. And this right here, this blue plus quest is what will begin the Black Mage storyline of Final Fantasy XIV. Which of course we're going to do, because there are certain skills that you will not be able to learn unless you do your story quests. I'm just trying to decide whether or not I want to open this now or come back to it later. You know, we have the Aetheryte open. We could come back here anytime. For now, I think we're going to save this for the next episode. So we'll come back here at the start of episode 2. But I just wanted to get that explanation and talk about that while I was here. And I'll probably mention it again as we begin the next episode. But I just wanted to talk about it now while it was fresh in the memory. Okay, so now we need to go to the steps of Thal. So if we open up the map, which I need to expand. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize my settings did not carry over from my main character. Looks like we can go down here, but we're actually going to go through the quicksand to the Steps of Thal because it will be quicker to get to the Sapphire Avenue exchange from there. Just, just from my little exploration that I have done playing Final Fantasy XIV. And while I am on my way over there, I just quickly wanted to apologize for any weird cuts that you all may have seen at this point in the episode. I got sick. I started to get sick, I should say, on Christmas, and it has not been like super fun, but I was feeling much better. Oops. I wanted to attune myself to the Aether Knight, to the shard outside the quicksand, but I was feeling a lot better today, and I decided that I was gonna go ahead and start getting recording so that I could get this all nice and edited and ready for you all that the day that this premieres. Oh, I love that costume. Oh my gosh. So fun. Anyway, back on task. I think I'll go. Actually, no. If I was still over by the Black Mage Guild, I would have cut ahead to finding Ciceroga. But since we're already in the Sapphire Avenue exchange, all I have to do is come down here. I am good to go. I just want to go find. I know where the Aetherite shard is in this area, which coincidentally is right by the person we need to speak to. So I'm going to pick this up really quick. And let's go ahead and speak to Ciceroga. And you are? Ho, a newly come adventurer. But of course. Yes, I am Ciceroga. What can I do for you? You would have me teach you the ways of the marketplace. Very wise. As for my fee? What? You expect me to do it for free? Surely you jest. My dear adventurer, when you ask an Ul'dah for a favor, you should at least try to make it worth his while. Judging by your garb, I would rather doubt you could afford my services, but the fact you offer nothing is laughable. And now we just have to hand over the letter of introduction from Momodi, so then he would know that we mean serious business. Oh, Mistress Momodi instructed you to see me out, did she? Consider yourself fortunate to have such influential friends. I shall be brief, and you shall be attentive. You stand in the Sapphire Avenue Exchange, the busiest and most profitable marketplace in the Sultanate. Being advantageously situated in relation to the other city-states, Ul'dah's markets have ever served as both the literal and figurative centers of Eorzean commerce. All the great overland trade routes lead to our city, and the majority of maritime trade between Hildebrand and Alder passes through our ports. Because of this, countless companies and consortia have chosen Ul'dah as their base of operations. They see to it that this marketplace is awash with merchants and money lenders day and night. Anything man could ever desire can be purchased here, provided as he has sufficient funds. Surely there's something you seek, adventurer. A deadly sword, perhaps, or a shinier trinket. Whatever it is you want, the exchange will have it. To the north, you will find merchants peddling armor and accessories, curatives, and crafting materials. And to the south, you will find weapons, tools, and assortments of other useful items for sale. Seek out a particular merchant or browse to your heart's content. But do try to remain aloof should you find something that piques your interest. Decisions made in the heat of the moment are usually unwise, especially where coin is concerned. Ahem. That is all the complimentary aid you shall have for me, and far too much for my taste. My regards to Momodi. Now off with you. So this right here, handing over items, you saw me pretty much do it. You just click on it, press hand over, hit accept, move on. So now with the completion of those 3 tasks, we can speak to Momodi by going over to the Adventurers Guild and complete another quest in our adventure, because that will be the first of many. And when I say many, I mean many, many, many. And that is also another reason why I wanted to get to that Aetherite. Just quickly get on over here. How was your tour of the city, Scout? Did you get lost, did you? Well, Ul'dah's a big place with lots to see and do, but wandering around aimlessly won't pay the bills. If you're serious about making a living here, you'll need to remember where things are. So when you go exploring, explore like you got a purpose, eh? Alright then. All that's left is for you to work hard, make money, and spend it here at the Quicksand. And complete. Alright, you guys, so the next quest is locked because I have to be at level 4 in order to get to it. But this is roughly where I wanted to conclude the first episode of Final Fantasy XIV. So with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me in this first episode. I had a huge smile on my face the entire time I was in that opening cutscene and just thinking to myself, oh my gosh, here we are, I'm finally here. This project that I have been planning for the latter half of 2017, it's finally here, and I was just, oh my gosh, I was so freaking excited. Before I go ahead and salute you all off, like I promised you, you can go ahead and click on keybind here, and you'll be able to reset your key bindings. So for example, for the hotbars, I do plan on organizing all this because I do have a very specific way I set up my hotbars. And then for the UI changes, you just hit HUD layout, and then you're able to move around everything on here. And that is actually something that I am going to do between episodes as we... I'm going to go ahead and just click out of here as we move on into our adventure. So anyway, you guys, thank you again for joining me in this first episode of Final Fantasy XIV of Realm Reborn. My name is Brenton. Be sure to leave a like if you like this video, share it if you feel so inclined to do so, and leave me any comments. I know you guys like to talk to Drac236, but I promise you, I love responding to comments that you give to me directly on my videos. And then lastly, subscribe so that you can be notified of episode 2 coming next week to BPV Gaming. You guys, thank you once again for joining me on this adventure. I look forward to next week and to joining you with Scout. And I will see you all then. Bye!